This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is, locked and loaded. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Doing great. Oh, how are you?
Excellent, man. Just getting ready for another week. Good thing is I don't have to go 7 days a week. So my voice is thanking me, my brother. I mean, really,
Yes.
it was hurting me down the stretch here. And so now we got to recover a little bit here overall. Mario's got to do a lot of recovering. I wonder what he did after the season was over for some kind of therapy or something, dude. I wonder if he went to like a day spa to like move in for a week or something. I don't know. He took a mud bath for like 3 days straight or something.
I wish I knew what Mario really did to let go, because I don't think he really ever does that. I think he just goes right back to work, as he likes to tell everybody in every press conference, right? That he's got to go right back to work. I think, recruiting, transfer portal, coaching, all of those things are on his plate right now. This is really the busiest time of year because you have to start planning for what is inevitably going to be a major roster overhaul here. And I think, that's the issue. Him probably reaching out to players that he actually wants to keep and making sure that they don't go anywhere.
All right. So what do we know? What are you hearing? What names are already getting in line to get out and hit that transfer portal?
Well, listen, I mean, there you could go up and down the roster and make guesses at it. Oh, I mean, there's a lot of guys who didn't end up playing this year that were hoping for big roles on this team. I'm not going to sit here and speculate over all of them. 6 of them have already announced it. There's 2 more that everybody pretty much knows are gone. Keyshawn Smith, the wide receiver, hasn't really played at all in the last month of the season. Avery Huff is a linebacker, has been here 4 years, played nothing but special teams. So those are 2 more guys in addition to the 6 that have already announced. I'm expecting at least, like I said before, probably close to 24 guys when it's all said and done. And, really what you need to think about here as the calendar changes and goes forward is December 5th. That's the day everybody can put their name in the hat. And you're starting to see guys across the country, at other programs that were big time recruits, just like Miami, right? Because, I mean, it's not like Miami's guys weren't highly recruited either. They're all 4 stars and 5 stars too, right? I think everybody keeps asking, well, what do you think they're going to do? Which players are going to be here? It's hard to answer that question until after December 5th, until we start to see a list of names of who actually goes in there and who's looking for a payday, because that's what it's going to come down to. I think the best players, the guys that are smart, are going to use this system to become free agents like they can be and see if their own school puts forth the money to keep them, or somebody else comes along and offers them a better deal. And I think that's what we're going to see here. We're going to see unparalleled free agency in college football here for the first time, because I think the last couple of years, guys were starting to get that idea. But think about Jordan Addison. What if he'd put his name in as soon as the transfer period started, right? As soon as the season ended. If he does that, who knows how much money he could have yanked out of the system here. So I think we're going to start to see more guys do that starting December 5th. And so it's hard for anybody to sit here and honestly tell you, hey, I know this is what's going to happen with this roster, because I think it's all fluid. It all depends on who wants to leave and who's actually going to stay.
How's Mario going to work with that? Some guy trying to hit the transfer portal and hustle them for a better NIL deal. How's he going to work with that?
His name's John Ruiz, right? I think that's the way that it works. Look, college football wants to separate church and state, right? They want to say that college teams can't participate in NIL, that coaches aren't supposed to be involved, that's a separate entity. But we all know the reality here, man. Like, that's why you have to have a football GM. That's why you need to have a guy like Alonzo Highsmith or somebody else who's in charge of this, who maybe is the middleman. That's where I think the NCAA is going to have to change things here, because it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. Which schools lose some really good players? Last year, Jordan Addison was basically it, right? Everybody else who went into the transfer portal was looking for a fresh start. Jordan Addison sort of became the first real free agent in college football, and he knew where he was going. He knew he was going to USC, so he didn't really put his name out there. I'm interested to see how college football adapts to this new era and how many guys use it to their benefit, because there are some really good players that, if they're smart, this is what they're doing. They're shopping themselves in the offseason.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right. On the recruiting side, does it look like that class is, now that the season is over and there's no more hell to face every week and possibly scare these kids?
Right.
Does it look like the class has stayed pretty strong outside of the kid that left to Florida?
Yeah, outside of Jaden Rashada, I think so. I mean, it looks like most of those guys want to come in and look. Mario's this is what he does. He's a good recruiter. He can convince people to come here and play football, even if the results look absolutely terrible. And so I think he's got to buy in for the majority of those recruits. I think there are some guys that Miami, as the season has progressed, watching these guys play as seniors, that they may not want to sign in this class. There may be guys that are kind of dropped, quote unquote, dropped or look for new opportunities, etc. So I think you could see a little bit of shuffling with some of the players, but I think for the most part, the main guys, the Cormani McLeans, the Francis Maui Goas, and potentially some more high-end top 100 recruits here could be joining Miami's class. I think this is going to be a top 10 class. I think Mario wanted a top 5 class. In the end, with all the shuffling, with the NIL that's going to start on the NIL, the transfer window is going to start December 5th, that could force some schools to let go of some top-end recruits. And that's why this thing is so fluid. That's why I keep telling everybody, wait to see who becomes available in the transfer portal before you start checking off names in the recruiting class. The recruiting class comes second to the transfer portal. Like, you can't sign until the third Wednesday as far as high school recruits. You can't sign until the third Wednesday in December. Well, guess what? December 5th is when the transfer portal window opens. And if Alabama or Georgia or somebody wants to take a really good player, and all of a sudden they say, you know, the 5-star offensive tackle or the 5-star running back says, well, you just got a kid who's a junior who's transferring in from another school. Why do I want to go there? So that's why I'm saying this whole thing is so fluid that we really don't know how things are going to shake out until after the transfer portal really gets rolling.
Some people tell me TVD's gone. What do you think?
I don't think so. Look, at the conversations that I've had with his reps and people in the past was, you know, he wanted to go to the NFL this year, but I think he pretty much proved that he couldn't, because based on the season he had, and plus his shoulder being injured and you know, kind of the recovery. So he has to come back to college. And my understanding is Miami wants him, and my understanding is TVD wants to come back. He wants to be here at Miami, quarterback this team. Now, does he want the roster to change? Absolutely.
But why? Why would he want to when he doesn't fit the offensive coordinator's style? And the offensive coordinator doesn't do enough adjusting to him. So after this whole year, why would you want to put yourself through that risk again, that if you don't play well in his system, hell, he could be benching you for somebody else? Why not go somewhere where maybe, I don't know, does Rhett Lashley need a quarterback next year?
I don't think so.
And light the hell up and then say, okay, here's my stats. Now I can go to the league.
Everything I've heard about SMU, and I understand that's sort of the fit, right? You think automatically go back and play with your offensive coordinator, your quarterback's coach. That seems like the obvious thing to do. But I think the reality is SMU is in a different position. There's a lot of external pressure on Rhett Lashley over there to play Texas kids. He's got Texas quarterbacks on his roster. And you have to understand the dynamic in college football. Even if he brings in Tyler Van Dyke for 1 year, that's going to piss off people that are supporting him financially, that are helping people, you know, as far as NIL dollars. And so there's a whole other world connected to all of this kind of stuff. And quite honestly, I think, you know, Tyler, he's got to look at this situation and say, well, Miami needs me, right? They need a quarterback. Mario doesn't have anybody else. Emory Williams isn't going to come in as a true freshman and play right away. So unless Miami somehow finds
my point,
some 5-star, former 5-star guy in the transfer portal, I don't think that, and personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, if you're one of those quarterbacks right now, are you looking at Miami with the offensive line and receivers they have and saying, that's my first choice?
No.
So I think this is more of a marriage. This is more of a marriage of you know, just what's best for each side.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wonder if the kid, you know, it's just, and Jakari got some playing time, so you wonder if they start mixing him in, you know, next year. And I'm just saying, you know, because in a way you got to look out for yourself, and I understand that, and it's great to have people sell out for your teams and all that, but these are human beings. These are individuals too, and sometimes it's a detriment to what they're trying to do. Jake Garcia is gone, right?
I mean, I would assume so. Look, he's under contract with Ruiz for another year. He's got another, I think, 60 or 80,000 for next season in terms of NIL dollars.
Wow.
So for him, you got, again, this is so hard to talk about now, because the way we used to think of the college football calendar, right? Where, high school recruiting is so important. Like, we have to start programming our brains to start thinking, the coaching carousel, the way that affects things, right? Who goes where, which coaches leave, which and end up at which places. All of that plays a factor into, and then the transfer portal, like, just who else is available out there.
Right.
I don't think Jake Garcia is a top 30 quarterback in the transfer portal. Do you? I mean,
No.
I mean, I couldn't put him in there the way he turned the ball over. So where's he going to go?
I don't know. Yeah.
And to me, that's like one of the last To me, that's one of the last FAU doesn't even have a coach. Which, by the way, I heard some chat.
Does the kid still have? Does Nkosi have one more year left, or was this his senior year?
No, this was it. Nkosi, this was his 14th season in the league, so he has to go. I mean, but yes, I think it's like, to me, there's a pecking order. If you're a stud, you're gonna end up somewhere quickly. If you're like the 31st guy on the list, you're gonna wait a while to find a new home, right? So I think Jake, in his situation, it's obvious. If I'm him, I'm wanting to play someplace else because the struggles were real, right? And you need to find somewhere where you can get on the field. This is year 3, but at the same time,
and he's never getting on the field here, because if Van Dyke comes back for one more year, those young guys are the next ones in line. They're not going to spend their time with Jake.
That's why I'm telling you, man, like, everybody, like, we can't sit here. We can't even throw darts on the board, because the reality is, like I said, there's a pecking order, and his dart is going up 30 moves from now. That's when we'll know what happens with Jake Garcia. He could enter the transfer portal if he wants, but he's leaving $60,000 to $80,000 behind. And he may not get a scholarship somewhere else. There may, at least at the FBS level, he may have to go down to the FCS level.
Wow. All right. What else you got going on with the Canes this week and the Athletic?
Well, look, there's going to be plenty of coverage. Recruiting, as I said, is picking up. The transfer portal, all of those things. There'll be a roster breakdown. I'll be on top of that. We are putting out a top 50 games of the regular season list. Miami did make it once, but not for good reasons. So, with 50 most memorable games of the 2022 regular season. I got Recruiting Confidential I'm working on with Grace Rayner, who's one of our national writers. There's a ton of college football stuff in there. And like I said, the coaching carousel, that is so important, because assistant coaches, coordinators, all those kind of things are affected. And then players and commitments switch schools. So I wish there were answers, but we're so early in the process that I would just tell Canes fans, hang in there and wait until spring football starts, because the thing will change all the way up until spring football. You really won't know what kind of team you have until spring football begins, because at that point you may still have defections, but it'll be much smaller in capacity. That's when the roster, the coaching staff, everything should be in place.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Catch his work there at The Athletic, and make sure you subscribe. I don't know if they got the Black Friday stuff still going on or Cyber Monday stuff, but they had some really good deals.
It was $1 for 12 months. So you can, I don't know if it's still available. It might have ended yesterday. I'm not 100%.
If not, they usually have some good deals going on.
Yep.
Plus, you get all the news nationally too, and international soccer and all kinds of good stuff. So check it out there at The Athletic. Manny, we will catch up later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate you.
Take care, O.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro. And by the way, the Florida Gridiron Roundtable will not go on today. We will start doing it now once a month from here on out. So we'll probably get them right before their bowl games. Well, 2 of the 3 that are going to have bowl games. And then we'll continue throughout the offseason. Although tonight, the Miami Hurricanes Watch with Mike McCoy rolls on. Gabby Arrudia is going to join him, so he will be there. All right. That is your Miami Hurricanes report.